as you all come on in, welcome to the Sick of This show this morning. Um, we have Nick Perro, myself, with special co-host Lawrence Winterman, as usual, and our good friend Füsun Aydin. Um, did I say that right?
You did, yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
I like getting
And
names right because people get mine wrong all the time. Um, And Fusin is a great friend of ours and a friend of Lawrence's show, and is in fact where I met her through, was through Lawrence and Dana's show, the Daily What or Gen XE on their Daily Whatever. And Fusin was in the crowd, and she is an amazing part of the community. And I got to be a part of the community pretty much through Fusin just making fun of me. And giving me a hard time during the first through chats, and I rolled with it. Um, because I like people like that. Because you just came out and you're like, yeah, this is who I am. And I was the outsider. So I found myself in a really cool community, and I'm really glad I did. Um, and so I wanted to introduce Fusin to my crowd, which is has a lot of crossover between Gen XE, um, as well. So most of you may know Fusin already. You are a sex worker or were
I am. Still
and
am. Yeah.
um,
Still are.
still are. And I wanted to bring you on because there's a lot of misconceptions around the work you do, a lot of misconceptions around the people who are in the line of work that you are in. And I think a lot of those misconceptions are really hurtful.
Yes.
Um, and so I wanted to bring Fusan on to maybe demystify some of those misconceptions, because look at this amazing person across from us, who is just like every one of us. Like, that's the whole point, right? We're all human. Um, and that's part of what I'm trying to get across, not to you, Fusin, but for the audience on this, is especially after yesterday and the shooting that just happened in the US, we are all fucking human, and we need to start treating each other like we're people, and like each one of us matters, and like each one of us has a purpose and a soul and a heart, and whatever it may be, we need to start fucking treating people like it. And I'm so glad that you're here today, Fusin, um, because unfortunately for you, you have been treated like dirt at times. Probably. I'm making assumptions. I'm assuming that you have been treated like dirt at times, because I have. And people always get treated like dirt. Um, and right now, I'm expecting a lot of hate to start being thrown, right now in the US, even more so than there was, because unfortunately, yesterday's shooter was someone who was transgender, in at least that's what they say. That's what is being said. And I don't believe. I don't believe for a second until there's reporting that's truth, because everything's a lie right now. But we need to confront it and say something before they make a narrative on this, because they want to make a narrative that's fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry,
They've
Busan,
already
this
started.
doesn't actually have anything to do. I mean, doesn't really have a lot to do with you, because you're not in the US. It doesn't hit you right now, because you guys don't have gun violence the same way we do. But I know it does hurt you and the entire community that we're all a part of. And I think every single one of us, especially people who look like me, who look straight enough and who look like they fit in, we need to say things and tell the truth. This is a gun problem and a mental health problem, because this person was abused by a church to hate themselves so much that they would rather kill themselves and other kids than live. And that's what I believe. And if other people want to be mad at me for that, who are hopefully not the two of you, um, I don't give a fuck what other people think. Is guns are the problem. Churches are the problem that are abusing children into hating themselves and turning themselves into hateful, spiteful people who can't live with themselves, and they go and do horrendous things. And this is not about this individual who did this, because just like the last shooting that happened, I didn't give a fuck who shot those people. It doesn't
Right.
matter about the shooter. It matters about the people that died. And these kids died because of hate and bigotry. And I think we can confront that with the three of us with a little bit of love and no bigotry today. So welcome, Fusen. I'm sorry about that intro. Um,
No, no, don't be sorry.
but
Don't be sorry.
I've got kids and I'm afraid. I've got school age kids and I'm afraid, um, right now of what could happen. And, and on top of that, I'm afraid for my community, my LGBTQ plus community specifically, because this is going to be used as a cudgel and a weapon in this country. Um, and Husin, can you introduce yourself to us? Because I want to have a conversation, hopefully a conversation with you about confronting hate and overcoming it. Um,
Yeah, sure. Um, so as Nick said, my name is Füsun. I am transgender, um, male to female transgender. Um, I'm from Turkey. I currently live in the Netherlands. As Nick also said, I'm a sex worker, and I am a writer. And yeah, that's about all there is to me, I think, in in one brief sentence.
Well, an
Fusin,
amazing writer. I mean,
amazing writer.
absolutely incredible writer.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
And you can you tell us about your writings and what inspires you a lot to write? Because to be honest, I'd rather talk about writing and that sort of thing right now than anything. Um, what inspires
Okay.
you to write? And in going forward, like knowing things that are going on in the world, what inspires you to keep writing?
Uh, to answer the last question, it's more to so that there is a record of things that happened before people try to claim that things didn't happen. And um, I think everybody has a duty and a responsibility to write and to keep records, things that have happened to them, so that it can't be questioned later on. And his history can be told from a certain point of view and a certain angle that people aren't often privy to and don't have access to. So for me to write as a transgender woman and as a sex worker, my writing is there so I can tell people how this happened, why this happened, how it was, how it is. Um, and so it leaves anybody who's outside of that circle, it takes away their assumptions. Sure, they'll still make assumptions anyway, and they'll still make judgments, but at least somebody said something, yes? Somebody said, somebody said from that community, somebody spoke, somebody gave them the information so that the assumption isn't as necessary as it once was. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it
Um,
does. At least to me.
what inspires me is uh pretty much the same thing. Is that I want people to understand and to see um my life and what it is, and I don't want to keep it to myself. I don't want to keep everything to myself because a lot of my writing centers around problems, around issues, around personal issues, personal problems. And a problem shared is a problem halved, right? So once you share a problem, you can be helped. If you keep it to yourself, because I don't have the answers. I may write things and I write things precisely because I don't have the answers. Because I want outside perspectives. I want people to educate me as much as I'm educating them. And so I can learn from others. I can learn if I did something wrong, which I didn't think I did wrong. I could learn if I did something right when I thought I'd done something wrong. I can learn all kinds of things just from writing. So I find that if I write in a certain way, um, and I um tell the truth as best as I can remember it, um, I can get fresh perspectives and also a fresh perspective from myself. I can write things down and I can see things from an aerial point of view rather than tunnel vision. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
Yes,
Shit.
it totally does, and it actually opens up for. I want to ask Lawrence you the same. Is what inspires you to write and to keep writing? Because you're an author. Just so everybody knows, sorry, before Lawrence answers, Lawrence is also a sci-fi author, and is an incredibly good sci-fi author too. And I highly recommend his writings. I listen to his book and read it every time he brings it out. I know I don't always like it and remember to share it, but I need to because it's beautiful. And um, Brushy said it in the chat, is we have this maybe heavy and you have the best guests on here with Fusin and Lawrence. And
Ah.
I, I think I totally agree. Is Can you tell us, Lawrence, a little bit about, I guess, your muses of what keeps you writing and why you write?
Yeah. I mean, Füsun keeps me
Yeah.
writing. Honestly, I think as a writer, there's nothing more inspiring than reading another great writer. I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but sometimes I will read somebody's writing and it is so good and so powerful. I get this like little stab of jealousy, and I'm just like, fuck, that's so good. And it makes me feel slightly competitive. And and the moment I so early when I first joined Substack, Fusin was one of the first people that got recommended to me,
Yeah.
and I clicked through and read a couple articles and felt that feeling of like, God damn it, she is such a good writer. It moved me, and it also, she's Fusin, you're writing about your life. You're telling a story that only you can tell. And so, it's not like I could write what Fusin writes, because I don't have her experiences. I'm not living her life. But the quality of writing is something that absolutely inspires me to be better as a writer. And I sort of feel like maybe that's a secret of all writers, that we're all kind of secretly, um, kind of competing with each other for like a great turn of phrase or a really wonderful way of saying something or approaching a topic or a concept. But we're also like a community that builds on each other, where it's inspiring. I'll read something that Fusin writes and it inspires me to go write something that is completely different, right? Because I'm writing science fiction. Um, and when it comes to sci-fi, I'm inspired to write sci-fi because it's what I grew up reading. And as this feels funny after our last episode, but as a gay dude, I didn't see any representation in science fiction as I was growing up. And so when I started writing sci-fi, like I quickly realized, oh, I'm writing queer sci-fi. Like I'm writing science fiction that has, you know, gay and lesbian and trans and bi, characters. And then I sort of realized, oh, I actually don't want to write anything else. I don't want to write a straight character in my sci-fi, like, there's so many books about straight people and so much science fiction that it is features straight people. It's kind of the Ruth Bader Ginsburg quote, when someone asked her how many women would be enough on the Supreme Court, she was like, when there are 9. And when there have been 9 for 250 years, then it will be enough. And, she wasn't joking. She was making a point. And so there's a piece of me that feels like one of the things that inspires me to write is I want there to be good quality queer sci-fi out there. And I won't stop writing that until, there have been 150 years of queer sci-fi. So, those are the things that inspire me to write.
Coincidentally, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Lawrence made me like sci-fi, made me enjoy
I
sci-fi.
love
His writing made me enjoy sci-fi, because I'll be brutally frank, beforehand I couldn't give a shit about sci-fi.
Yeah.
But
No, I get that.
Lawrence has a way of writing that makes it so relatable. It's not far-fetched. It's not too out there that it's not understand. You can't understand it. It's incredible. His writing is incredible.
Thank you, Füsun. A big honor for me is, Füsun, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. I had you read a chapter. So there are 4 point of view characters in my book, and one of them is a trans woman. And I started writing this years ago, well before Füsun and I ever met each other. And when I was writing this character, Jackie, I wanted her to be just real, just a person. And so I asked Füsun to kind of do a sensitivity read on the chapter to see, if I was any way representing the trans experience wrong. And, Füsun, when you kind of came back and said that you really loved it and that, the characters felt very real and natural to you, like, I think that's the thing that, a writer dreams of is, being able to like fully embody. There is a cat, Brushy. My 2 cats are currently playing, which means they sound like they're murdering each other. So sorry about that.
Show me the pussy.
So yeah,
well, that's on video now for me saying it. All right, Lawrence, show us the pussy. Like, you got it now.
You're gonna have to wait until tomorrow when Füsun and I are doing Dirty Talk, and if I'm showing my pussy, it's gonna be tomorrow on that show.
Exactly.
Good.
Mad,
okay,
isn't
sorry,
it?
we interrupted you partway through.
No, that's okay. I'm just laughing because KR just joined, and we blew his mind on the Daily Whatever before this, and he just joined. As I was saying, if I'm gonna show my pussy, it's gonna be tomorrow on Dirty Talk. Sorry, everybody.
Hey, KR.
And exactly
welcome to the Sickest show. That's how we talk too.
Yeah.
Exactly like Walter Cronkite as well,
Right.
Well,
this just in. I'm going to show you my pussy.
And it's going to be shaved and wet.
Maybe not
good.
Right now.
We've got a solid A+ so far, so that's good. I'm loving this.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
All right, good. So I'm glad the 2 of you are kind of like muses almost for each other at times, or seem like inspirations for each other. And I know you both know each other a lot. You're a lot closer with each other than I am with either one of you, because you've known each other for a lot longer, and you've shared with each other a lot more experiences just verbally and through your time together and writing and growing. And I kind of love that about the writing community. Like you were saying, Lawrence, is it's competitive, but it's not competition. If you know what I'm saying. Like, I come from the tech world where everything is competition. Like, everybody is your competition. You're always one-upping each other, but it's always like, I need to be better than you one-upping each other, and I have to show and prove to you that I'm better than you. And it's this false machismo sort of thing. Now that I look at it from the outside. Can you guys talk, or can you two both talk about your experiences in terms of writing, and how that's, I think I lost part of the question. Can you talk about sorry, I have fibro. I lose things halfway through. I was talking to Fusen about this a little bit before, and I messaged Lawrence too, I'm really scared today. Like my kids are in school today. And I live in a red state that doesn't have really good gun laws. Um, and so I'm nervous of backlash, that people are gonna just have. And the anger and the fear that and the unrelenting just hate that's gonna pour out from all of this. And so the two of you having this like bond across oceans together is really beautiful because it shows that the internet isn't the problem. Like the internet's not the problem here. Like that's they're gonna say again like video games or the internet or gay people or trans people because unfortunately this person was part of the LGBTQ plus community. They were identified as trans is what I will say. I I don't know. I'm not them. I wasn't there. I don't know their life, but that's what they've been identified as,
Well,
and the right wing's going to use that for hate, and
yeah.
I don't
Can I,
like.
Fusen, feel free to overrule me here, but Nick, I appreciate that you're being very cautious about, kind of how the person identifies. But the reporting so far is that they did go to court to legally have a name change, and the reason given was that they self-identified as trans. So I don't think we need to be cautious about that part, right?
Okay,
Like it isn't, and again, Fusen, overrule me if you want to. The problem here is that this person was fed a social messaging of self-hatred, right?
yeah,
And I think all of us kind of have to hold this thing in our head, right? That people can be gay or trans or bi or whatever, and they can be an asshole, right?
yeah,
People could be gay and trans or bi or whatever, and they can have mental health issues. And those things are not connected. There are straight people who are fucking assholes. There are straight
yeah.
people who have mental health issues. We don't know fully what this person's lived experience was, except that, you know,
That's the only part of their lived experience that we know about.
it's
To be totally
currently the
honest.
only piece of their experience that we know, right? And Nick, you were framing it as like there's going to be a backlash. There's going to be it's already out there, right?
Okay,
Like
yeah,
X
yeah, yeah.
is
I
an
mean,
absolute Twitter is a cesspool right now of anti-trans messaging because this person happened to be trans, right? When it's a white guy and suddenly it's about like, oh, mental health needs to be a focus. Mental health is the issue. Mental health is clearly an issue here too. This person had a lot of hate. If you
yeah,
look at the manifestos that they left behind, it appears to be equal opportunity hate for people on the left and people on the right, and the sun and the moon and the stars and everybody, right? So I understand, like, I really appreciate the fact that we want to be careful, but this is a gun problem. The problem is
yeah.
that this person was mentally ill and legally bought several guns days or weeks before the shooting happened, and then went and murdered two children in a fucking church school, in a church at mass.
Yeah.
That's not a
Thank you for
trans
saying
thing.
it so clearly, Lawrence. I appreciate you doing it because, like, I like I said, I'm scared and I don't know what words to really say. And unfortunately, because I'm straight enough looking and I'm white and I live in Arkansas in a place where there aren't gun laws and people are hateful, is it's going to be assumed that maybe my message coming out too is part of that hate. And I do not want to be associated in any way with the hate that is going to be thrown at trans people because it's not an issue about gender or sexual identity.
Right.
It is an issue about guns and the fact that Americans have become so fucking accepting of children dying.
Yeah.
Like,
Nick, I think, we on the left, people make fun of the woke thing, right?
yeah,
And I think there is a truism on the left that we try to be really cautious and not offend people, right? But you're here and you are speaking up about how gun violence is the issue and how guns are the problem and how it isn't a trans issue. It isn't about the person's identity. We just have to get more comfortable doing that, right? Like people on the
yeah,
left need to be more comfortable showing up and saying, it is guns. It is
yeah.
literally the guns. The guns are the problem. And if we stumble when we're saying that, we all are trying to speak with the best intent and, you know, and, and be clear. But we're human and maybe we're not clear, but you're fucking trying. And that's the point.
Okay.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah. And I want to make sure in the crowd too, like, I'm not doing this to get sympathy. I don't want any of your sympathy. I'm learning what is appropriate and how to say things right while I'm doing it on the fly. Like, I'm not a trained journalist. I'm literally a dude who's just mad at the world because my kids are being attacked, my rights are being attacked, my wife's rights are being attacked, my country is being attacked, I'm being attacked, my friends are being attacked, my communities are like everything. Like, I just want a better America and a better place where, like, Fusen, you could come visit and actually be welcomed, and people wouldn't fucking hate you or attack you or take your phone and search through your fucking phone at the airport and treat you like a goddamn terrorist. Like, I want an America that Fusen is comfortable in. I want an America that Lawrence doesn't want to leave. Like, I
I
how
think
have you helped each other through these times? I guess I want to almost to process my emotions. Like,
Let's
actually,
let
no, never
Putin.
mind. Fusen, please jump in. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. Can I?
I'm discombobulated this
You're
morning.
okay, brother. Like you're good.
It's all right.
We got
It's
you.
Fusen, please
okay.
jump in. Please jump in.
There's that. I think to add a comment in regards to the shooting. Yes, it is a gun issue. The access to firearms from an outside perspective in the United States to me is insane. It's insane how easily somebody can buy a killing machine. There's only one purpose, one reason anybody would want to have a gun, and that's to hurt something or someone. That's the only reason anybody would want to have a gun. Um, I think, like, yeah, it's a gun issue, but also society made that person. Society made that person hateful. Society made that person be ashamed of who they are. Society may as well have pulled the trigger with that person. Because once you teach people to hate themselves, they are going to hate everyone and everything around them. Because the hate for oneself doesn't just stop at oneself, it goes towards everybody. It's a cancer. Hate is a cancer. It starts in your heart and it spreads to other people's hearts. The society is also the problem. The more the administration in the United States comes down hard on trans people, the more extremism you will see, the more extreme actions you will see, because extreme begets extreme. Yes, so we
Hate
can sit
begets
there.
hate.
Exactly. So we can sit here and say, it's a society and it's a gun issue, and we can rationalize this person and be like, this person did it because of this. I've just done that and I understand that. Why are we not having the same conversations for the hundreds of white men that have walked into schools and churches and shot people of color, have gone to gay bars and killed people? Why is the same scrutiny not applied to them? Why is it now that it's just one trans person who does something? Is Twitter now a cesspit? Which it always was, by the way, but that's by the by.
Right.
Like, why is it one trans person that's provoked such outrage? Why is it world news? Yeah, why is the person who went to Orlando and shot those people in a gay bar not spoken about still? And pathologized, I don't know what the word is, pathologized
Yeah.
Why are they not applying the same rules to them? Because they hate us. That's the simple reason. They hate us, and they will do anything that they can. Because those people who shoot gay people, those people who shoot black people in churches, or shoot people of color or any minority, they're doing the things that the people at the top want them to do, whether they say it or not. You know,
Yep.
they can push those people to one side, but with trans people, it's, oh no, look at how bad they are. Look at how mentally unstable they are. Look at, they're dangerous people. They're gonna kill you. That'll be the next thing. They're coming after your children. Look, we told you they're gonna hurt your children. Like, it's in the double standards and the willingness for the United States government and the complicity that they have in all of these things, be it the trans shooting, be it a white supremacist shooting, the complicity that they have in all of these is absolutely staggering to me. It is staggering to me why the world as a whole doesn't put pressure on them to tighten their gun laws. Another country had a situation like this where people were running amok and shooting kids in school. The UN would be down their throat quicker than anything. But the United States, they get a free pass on anything. They can act as irreprehensible as they like. Nobody does nothing. That's
Yeah.
the thing that makes me
Mm.
sick, because this is not a solo thing. This is not a solo issue. A this is a I don't know, but it's definitely yearly at the very minimum, these mass shootings.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's,
Times a year. Yeah.
yeah. So nobody says anything. There's no universal condemnation like there should be. Sorry, I
No.
was fueled by anger and I went
No,
on a tangent.
don't apologize because I think your anger is justified from the outside. Like one of the amazing things about this conversation, or lucky things about this conversation, is we have an outside perspective right here to see what somebody else thinks about the U.S. Like,
Yeah. And Fusen, I think you made an amazing point, right? Which is New Zealand had a shooting at a mosque. They changed their gun laws the next month. Scotland had
Exactly.
a shooting years ago at a school. They changed their gun laws. Canada
Correct.
had a mass shooting like this years ago and changed their gun laws, right? Like other countries can do it. America seems to be the only country that is so beholden to the gun lobby and so wrapped around the axle of the phrasing and commas in the Second Amendment that we can't pass any kind of meaningful gun control legislation. It's an American problem. It is uniquely American. We have the Second Amendment that fucks us up. We've got the gun manufacturers that have a very strong lobby. We've got the NRA that has completely and utterly misinterpreted the Second Amendment. It's America. It's us. We're the problem. Hi, it's us. We're the problem. It's me.
yeah, I won't blame it solely on America. I will blame Russia is also part of the problem because they bought the NRA and fed these
Oh, for
lies
sure.
to make it more extreme. Um, and yeah, Robin, you make the most valid point of all of this is it's an amendment, like the Second Amendment. We amended the Constitution to add
Right.
it. We can amend it again to change it so that it's not
I'm writing an article about that exact thing right now that we're going to publish
good.
on Banner and Backbone, which is the Constitution is amendable. It was designed to be amendable. The framers wanted it to be changed. It's supposed to be a living document that grows with the times. Like this weird 50 plus year period that we're in where there have been no amendments has made us believe that it isn't changeable. It is. It is supposed to be changed. We can do it.
Yeah, and we should. Um,
Especially on
and
this topic. If the
yeah,
Second Amendment needs clarification, let's fucking clarify it.
yeah,
We can do it.
yeah. Um, And like, I think, Tristan, you also brought up a really good point, and Lawrence, you brought this up too, I think, is it's a mental health issue, not a person issue. Like, mental health crosses all barriers. Like, this type of hatred that was indoctrinated into this person was abuse. Like, an abuse happened that the Christian church, the fundamentalist Christian church that are nationalist Christians, if we're going to name things the way they are supposed to be named, we should be naming them. These nationalist Christians have abused children into hating themselves so much that if they were to accept, and this person accepted that they were trans and transitioned, but they hated themselves so much that they still committed murder. Like, because they needed an outward, like, place to put that anger, they committed murder on the one thing they hated the most, and that was themselves as a child.
Right.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's, how do you process these types of emotions in your writings? Like, for some, what do you use for like these types of strong emotions? Maybe not just like about guns, but just this type of strong emotion. How do you use it in your writing to propel you, or does it hurt your writing in any way? But how do you use it?
Um, I use it to enrich my writing. I use it to um my writing is the punch bag. Yeah. Every piece of anger, frustration, sadness, any strong emotion I have, I punch it into a page. Because that way, when you publish it, or you write it in your journal, or you write it on a piece of paper and burn it, it's there. It's gone. It's out of your system. Doesn't mean these things don't affect you anymore, but it's gone. Not completely, but the power it has over you is now gone because you've released it to somebody else. Somebody else can read it. Somebody else can process it, and you feel less alone. It might sound awfully selfish, but it's to use the strong emotion in there. Like, if you're not writing with emotion, are you writing?
Right.
Are you
I
Why?
love
writing?
that.
Yeah.
Are you, are you writing? Like, because if you're not writing with with emotion, you may as well go be a typist. You know, go work in a court and do that weird thing that they sit there in
Right.
shorthand and stuff.
Oh, the
Like,
stenographers.
yeah,
Yeah.
go be that. Like, because you cannot be a writer and author or whatever if you haven't got emotion. Your writing will be boring. Nobody will want to read it because it's blank. It's just, you may as well just have squiggles on the page because there's nothing there. It's hollow. So if I didn't have emotion, I wouldn't write. It'd be pointless and futile. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What is your um when writing, what is a predominant emotion that you tend to like use when you're writing?
Sadness, sadness and anger. Um, a lot of my works aren't the most uplifting. I wouldn't read an anthology of mine if you were passing over a bridge, for example. Uh, um, I would I would 1 second, somebody's at my door. Just give
Oh
me a
no,
second.
totally
Carry on
fine,
the
totally fine.
conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Lawrence, I'll ask sort of you too, is like when using these emotions in your writing, what is one of the like more predominant ones that you try and use to help maybe process and help yourself?
Uh, it's interesting. There's an element of hope to my writing. But I would say that I often tap into despair, I think, when I'm writing. And there's a thing, there's a weird belief that I have, which is I feel like as a science fiction author, part of my job is to write a future that will not happen, right? Like this is going to make me sound like a crazy person, but I kind of feel like in the quantum multiverse, everything is possible. And if I can at least articulate one horrible, awful, despairing future, I have visualized it, and therefore it will not happen that way. And if I can write a negative future, that means that future is off the table. And so it's almost like it's my job to write as many despairing futures as I can, because then maybe there's more good futures out there that I can be hopeful about. So despair plays a weird role. And my sort of uh, religious devotion to the reality of the quantum multiverse is a big motivating factor. You know, and I've said this before. You both know that I feel this way. That the book that I'm writing now, I've been writing it for like up more than 10 years at this point, and I feel like I'm racing the future. I feel like I'm, trying to uh, write the authoritarian dictatorship that is impending in the United States out of existence before it happens. And right now they're beating me. So
I hate that for you.
yeah, it's
I
particularly
hate that for
frustrating.
you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I write in the past a lot. So this is why I asked this question, because especially too, because like I write poetry, and a lot of my poetry is about the past or things that have happened to me, and rather than future states. And maybe I should write about future states at some point for me too. But for me, it's a lot of processing. And Fusun, you're saying in a lot of ways, it seems similar, is it's a processing experience. For your writing. So you were talking about how like you use sadness, but you also you were at the point of don't go over a bridge while reading my writing. Um, and I really want to get back into that too, because it links into the what Lawrence was talking about kind of that despair and racing to beat it.
I think yes. I think it's similar to Lawrence. Is um, if I don't get it out quick enough, it's gonna do me real damage.
Yeah.
Like real like visceral damage. If I don't do something about it, if I don't um, if I don't process it in the right way in enough time, I'll be worse for it, and I think that's why I write with sadness, because it's release, right? It's in a sense, it's a controversial thing for me to say, but all self-harm is a release. Um, and writing for me sometimes can be an act of self-harm because I'm forced to confront uh lots of things that I don't really want to talk about. Generally, things that I don't talk about outside of writing. I don't have the things I write about. I don't have verbal conversations about regularly because uh because it hurts a lot. A lot of the things I write about, it causes me tremendous amounts of hurt. Um, but I have to do it, and I have to write with that hurt, and I have to lead with that hurt when I'm writing, because otherwise it's meaningless. And my dream is to be free of all of those things, all of those, uh, the painful chapters and painful episodes of my life. And I feel that if you have a dream, whatever it may be, you have a duty and a responsibility to yourself to make it come true. Um, so, I mean, I guess that's all I really have to say
No, I
about it.
appreciate that. I appreciate the emotion on it, and because I want to before we end today, I want to read the poem that I wrote this morning because I couldn't write a poem last night. Like I write just like you guys. I write a lot, or as often as I can. And for me right now, I'm writing a poem a day. Just I I can get one out because I have the emotions to do it. Um, and it's helping me process. And so I'm going to read it here right before we end. But listen, I'm so glad you have come with us. And I know this conversation was probably not what you were expecting,
That's quite
or
all
where
right.
it may have turned. Um, but I do want to say thank you so much for being a part of it.
You're
And
welcome.
Lawrence, you too for helping me realize like it's easier just to say what is really needed to be said. And it's okay to say what actually needs to be said. And that's fits sort of in with the title of the show, which is Voices of, I think this was Voices of Power, was today's show. And Susan's a voice of power, because she speaks so plainly, yet so fluently, and eloquently. And you've been able to do it really, really well today. It's like you have been eloquent with us. And I really appreciate that.
Before you read your poem, when you say write quite bluntly and to the point, a friend of mine recently read a piece of my work to her mother, and I was listening to it while she was reading it out, and her mother is this English woman, and her mother is like, "Oh my God, she's blue, she's effing and jeffing, she's filthy."
Effin and Jeffin. I love it.
Effin, I love that. I've never heard that before. Oh, thank you, KR. Yeah, I mean, like,
Thanks, KR.
please all subscribe, especially to Fusen, and Lawrence. They are two
Thank you.
amazing human beings. With that said, like, if you subscribe to either one of them, also be like courteous towards people and don't just start fucking blasting people with DMs or questions or things. Like, be courteous, if you subscribe. And if you are one of my subscribers and you aren't courteous, you're not going to be a subscriber very long. So just
Mhm.
just be aware. Like, I'm very blunt about all of these things now, or I have been on other things. Lawrence has helped make me realize I can be blunt about certain other things during this show. And I'm just going to say things bluntly from now on. If otherwise, I mean, I'll be flowery and fun, but some of the things I'll say bluntly, is so just be a good audience to each other in a community, because right now we really, really need each other. Everyone, not just the LGBTQ plus community, but every single human fucking being needs each other right now, except for the billionaires and robber barons and leeches who are stealing our lives right now. Like, that's what they're doing. And so there was a little bit of a monologue there. Fusen, thank you so much. So much. And I'm
You're welcome.
going to read my poem real quick. It's a sonnet, and it's about the shooting, that happened. I kind of hope I make it through this, 'cause I haven't read this one out loud. I've read it quite a few times in my head, but I haven't read it out loud. And yeah, let's get into it. This one is called Bullets Now Shot. Shooting that gun is something never undone. Undoing lives, never to let them grow. Growing now done for those who are too young. Younglings no more, forever now they know. Knowing that two will never walk back in. Instead, those left alive are set to mourn, mourning losses of two who were just kin, kindred souls now stolen as hearts are torn. Tearing apart the worlds of all nearby, bygone now are those carefree sunny days, a days of grief, the where thoughts cannot deny, denial that the world is set ablaze, blazing so hot, one shot to spark the flame. Bullets now shot, red hot, now primed to blame. So that was today's poem.
Very good. Very
Thank
good.
you. I wrote it, and I'm glad you talked about the sadness, and for you, Lawrence, the
Despair.
despair, because that's sort of how I felt this morning. Like, I drove my kids to the bus stop, and I didn't want them to get out of my car. So,
I'm sorry
Füsun,
you're also experiencing that as well. I'm deeply sorry.
I think all parents in here or in this in our community, but I think all parents who actually care are feeling something in some. I hope everybody starts speaking up. I hope everybody takes the message Lawrence gave me and all of us today is be blunt and say what is needed to be said right now. Because I don't want my kids to die. And I don't want my friends to die. And I want Füsun welcome here in the US. I would love a day where I could invite Füsun and Lawrence and all of us to get together in person in the US. Because that would mean the US sees Füsun and Lawrence and myself and all of the others in our group equally as people. And so I want to give you the floor, Füsun, and then Lawrence, to let people also know where to find you, but to give any last words you may have after today on, especially around writing and how you can use that to process through this time.
Lawrence, would you like to go first?
I don't know that I have anything particularly eloquent to say. I just appreciate, Nick, that you invited us and given us a platform to talk. It's always good to talk to each other, and especially at a time like this where we're trying to process something that's unthinkable but happens.
Yeah, happens a lot.
Yeah, way too much.
Yeah. So Füsun, I'd love to give you the final words today, my friend.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's more to trans people in the United States is that there are people across the world who are thinking about you, who care and love you, and we still see you as family. And when you have a family, you want the best for the members of that family. And just to anybody who happens to be trans in this conversation is that, and is in the United States, is that you're loved, and that things will be very, very, very difficult for you in the coming moments, months, and years. But never ever lose sight of who you are. This is somebody who has gone through that, has gone through a system of profound hate, who has had people incessantly trying to tell me who I am when I've known who I am. And just through all of this, just remember who you are and never ever back down from that step. Never take one step back from who you are. Be entirely who you are and unapologetically who you are.
Thank you, Füsun. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And a little different today is I'm really sick of this shit. And we are at the point where we have to do shit in this country, and we have to help each other. Thank you, Füsun, for joining us. Thank you for
My
giving
pleasure.
an outside perspective too, and
That's
such a
my pleasure.
wonderful one. And
My
thank you for
pleasure.
talking about writing.
My pleasure.
Lawrence, thank you as well. I'll speak to
Thank you.
both of you again soon.
All right.
Take care,
Thanks,
Nick.
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.